What up, everybody? It's your boy Ash here. Happy Monday. I'm back again for you guys today here, this time with my review of manga chapter 278 of My Hero Academia here, the Disaster Walker. And what a fitting chapter name for this chapter, because Higante Makia makes a mess of everything in this chapter. So we kind of pick up where we left off from chapter 277 with Higante Makia on his way towards his boss's leader, Shigaraki. For some reason I could not think of that. So on his way to Shigaraki, and now that Shigaraki is awake and calling his follower, Higante Makia is making a beeline towards Shigaraki, trying to get there as fast as he can, because he's been waiting a long time for his master to awaken and for him to have orders. So Higante Makia is on a mission not to be stopped, and Mount Lady was doing her very best to hold him back. And the rest of the heroes that were helping her are getting blown away by his pure solid strength here. And we start the chapter off at the back lines, where class 1A and the rest of the sidekicks and heroes are waiting to hear confirmation of what's going on. And they hear that the Jakku team has failed and they are not able to hold Higante Makia back. So the pro heroes that are at the back line kind of rush to the front lines to see what they can do, to see if they can hold them back. And class 1A and the rest of the trainees are left behind to kind of hold the back line and stay out of trouble. But as they do this, Jiro and Soji kind of see and hear what the situation is, and they kind of are filling in the rest of Class 1A, especially Momo, about what is happening. And she's going to have a huge role in this chapter, which is awesome to see, because I love when Class 1A starts to thicken out and we start to learn a little bit more about the other kids and putting them in tough situations, kind of seeing what they're all about. So that's where we start. We cut back to Higante Makia and Mount Lady, and he's struggling, but he is moving Mount Lady, and she's bleeding from the nose and the mouth. She is struggling to stop them, and we get to zoom in on his back where the League of Villains are. We get to see Dabi, Spinner, Toga, and Mr. Skeptic is on the back as well, and he's wondering why Dabi grabbed him and not the others and left Redestro and the rest of the revolutionaries back at the base here. And we kind of see them later in this chapter as well. But they're surprised that Higante Makia is moving, and that means that Shigaraki must be awake. And they're like, this is earlier than expected. So they're expecting different plans, but they're on their way to meet up with Shigaraki. So it looks like the villains are coming together. Maybe they'll come together and retreat. Who knows what's going to happen? Or if they're all together, they're going to really make a push and push the heroes back. So we'll see. But he says, keep it down. Dabi does. They don't know we're on the back of this guy yet. So as Mount Lady is trying to hold back Higante Makia, some other heroes come up to stop him and kind of slow down his speed. But Getten, the ice villain, shows up and kind of blocks their path here. And then we get to see a conversation between Getten and Cementos here. Cementos kind of makes a huge cement wall and crashes it down on Getten. We see blood spatter on the ground, but we don't get to see what happened from that. So maybe Cementos finally killed Getten here, got him out of the way, or other way around. Something happened to Cementos here, but Cementos says we must stake our lives on this job. He looks extremely aggravated. So interesting combination here, but it looks like Cementos was not able to stop Higante Makia, and the other heroes are out of the way. And this is where Kamui Woods comes to play a little bit, everybody, here. So as Mount Lady gets pushed away here, Kamui Woods is on his way, and he's kind of like on the way with Midnight. Midnight is on his back, and they're doing their best to kind of not show her up, but like help her hold on as bit as they can here. But as he gets knocked out, you kind of see Kamui Woods get nervous, and we kind of figure they have a relationship, though we're not sure yet here. But he calls her by her first name, Takeyama, I believe is what she calls him. And then Midnight's trying to keep him focused, like, stay focused, we have a job to do, so get me close to his face. And we know that when Midnight takes off her clothes, that she has a gas that gets released that is makes people go unconscious, puts people to sleep. So we saw this when she had her fight with, I think it was Sero and Minerva. So, but as they're getting close to him, they finally notice that the League of Villains is on his back, Higante Makia's back, and Dabi shoots off a huge flame at Kamui Woods. But Kamui Woods, to his credit, takes the brunt of the flame to extend out Midnight towards Higantamakia's face here. So obviously Kamui Wood is made of wood. So fire attack, a direct fire attack like he just took, could be devastating. So I'm really nervous about that because Kamui Woods is one of my favorite characters in My Hero Academia. We haven't seen him much, but just the bits we have seen of him, I love him. I just made a video about that a little bit ago as well, about the powers that I would have, and his is one of the powers I would want. So I hope he's okay, but he really took a bad hit there. But as he extends out, Midnight looks like, yes, okay, I'm on my way. Mr. Compress then throws 3 of his marbles at Midnight, and then they pop, and they make, and rubble pops out of stone and wood and make direct contact with Midnight here, knocking her all the way back down to the ground here in a huge crash. And it really did a lot of damage. I mean, she's bruised up. She's bleeding from the mouth and nose here and eyes. I mean, she took a lot of damage from that hit. So she's in a vulnerable spot now in the middle of enemy territory, and she's bruised and battered. So their mission failed. And in between this, we got a little snippet of back at the base of Redestro fighting Edgeshot here. So that was a cool little scene. They mentioned that Higantamakia finally left and that they have to follow their leader, the guy who's going to bring revolution to the world. So Redestro kind of went mad. He's in his crazy mode, his huge shadowy mode here. And he's fighting Edgeshot, and Edgeshot is stabbing him in the shoulder. I don't know how that battle's going to go here. Obviously, Edgeshot is like the number 4 hero. He's extremely strong here, but when Redestro's in his aggravated form, he's extremely powerful as well. So much that Shigaraki had to use his full strength to take him out. So we'll see how that goes here, but he's releasing in a whole bunch of energy right now, and the rest of the revolutionaries under Redestro are trying to get up and catch up to Higantamakia and get to Shigaraki. So the villains are all converging into one spot here. So we had that little scene, which was really cool to see Edgeshot again, as well as the other top heroes, but the heroes are in trouble. I mean, they look like they're all struggling right now. So we move forward right now. Midnight contacts Momo that she has failed, and now it's Momo's turn to kind of step in. And despite it being illegal, she's not allowed to help out in a huge way with these hero missions. She's only a trainee, but this is desperate times. Desperate measures are ensured. So they know Momo's able to create gases and knockout gas. So it's up to her to create the knockout gas, get it to the heroes, and then escape. So as Midnight is kind of conveying this to her, she has like a little bit of flashback of her watching Momo on the big screen in the commercials, and she says Momo is going to be a great leader someday. So she's trying to explain to Momo, like, you got this, you can do it here. And Momo is freaking out, and we saw this a little bit, especially during the tournament, that she doesn't make the best right hand judgment, especially when her and Todoroki were fighting Eraserhead together. Eraser kind of said, like, hey, you need to grow up a little bit here. You need to be more confident in yourself and make these tough decisions here, not only for you, but for your teammates as well, because if you don't, people can die. So Eraserhead kind of put that in here, and we kind of get to see how that led up to now as she's grown a little bit. So she's hearing that no one's going to be able to stop Higantamakia but Momo. So this is her chance to kind of step up, and she starts to convey this. But as Momo's hearing this from Midnight, we see some of the revolutionaries appear behind him. And there's this guy with a mask, and there's like some weird thing coming out of his mouth. I can't really tell what it is, if it's like a tongue or like a tube. But he shows up right behind Midnight here. And as Midnight says, I trust your judgment, you got this, all of a sudden communications gets cut off with Midnight here, and Momo doesn't know what's going on. So really scared for Midnight. Obviously Midnight is a huge character. She's a teacher at UA, so hope nothing bad happens to her. But we've seen a lot of deaths in this arc already, so it wouldn't surprise me if someone else was killed. If Midnight, obviously in a vulnerable spot, and she's not the most battle hardened hero. Obviously she may be, we don't know specifically, but she's surrounded by enemies, especially these guys who look pretty tough. So she's in a bad spot unless someone goes to help her, like Kamui Woods or something is okay after taking that shot from Dabi. So communication is cut off, and now Momo is on her own, and she has to convey the message to the rest of 1A here. And they're asking Momo what happens if anyone has to put someone to sleep. Why couldn't it be Midnight? So they don't know exactly what happened, but Momo's mind is starting to race, like, what can I do? What's going on with Sensei here? And she's starting to freak out. but she kind of calms herself down and finally gears herself up for battle. And she calls on Earphone Jack, Jiro, and then Tentacle. So I forgot that Shoji's hero name was Tentacle. So she's starting to shoot out direction. She's finally geared herself up here. She's taking charge. She's doing what her sensei believed she could do. So she asks, how far away is Higantamakia? Higantamakia is about 10 seconds out, Jiro says here. So she's getting Kaminari, Sero, and Jiro all suited up and ready. But luckily, Higantamakia's speed is slowed down a little bit by Mount Lady. Mount Lady hasn't given up, grabs his leg here, slowing them down. I haven't been this clingy since middle school is what she says. So it's very funny. She's a great character. Mount Lady is awesome, but good for her for grabbing Higantamakia and not giving up. She's a true hero. She's really fighting it, even though she's bleeding from everywhere. And we get to see Kamui Woods on her head. So they're working as a team. They kind of wrapped around his leg. So that's awesome to see them working together. Kamui Woods is still good. He's alive for now, but may have taken a lot of damage from that shot from Dabi. But because they got more time, you see Momo extend her arm out, and you see these capsules start to pop out from different sides of her arm. She's starting to make out the knockout gas here, and they're going to convey this. They're not going to convey this. They're going to use this against the heroes, and now it's time for 1A to step up here. We got Kaminari, we got Jiro, and we got Momo, and the rest of 1A here. You see the whole group, and they say, prepare to engage the enemy. So I'm so excited to see 1A against a major villain here, especially Higantamakia. If they can slow down, if not take out Higantamakia or put him to sleep, that would be so awesome here. I don't think it's going to happen. Higantamakia has taken down many a hero since he woken up and made his rampage towards Shigaraki. So I don't think sleeping gas is what's going to do it for him. And I don't think 1A is strong enough or well suited enough to take him down. But if they did, and if they succeed, that is a huge step forward for 1A and their practical skills and their battle skills and learning how to work as a big team. So really cool way to end the chapter here with Class 1A stepping up here to take on Higantamakia with Mount Lady and Kamui Woods' help trying to slow him down. So really cool to see where that ends up here. We get to see them engage him next week, hopefully, or we'll shift back to see what Shigaraki and Deku are doing. So really cool chapter. It went by really fast here, but it was cool to just get a glimpse of what 1A was doing on the back lines here, and now it's their turn to step up and fight. So comment below, guys, what are your thoughts on Class 1A jumping into the fray here? How do you think the heroes are going to fare? Are the villains going to really start to push them back, or are the heroes going to make another push, another step forward to kind of push the heroes back and make them retreat, or the villains back and make them retreat? So let me know your thoughts below, guys. Here, I'm on my way to 100 subscribers. That's the goal, so don't forget to like that button. Subscribe, guys. That would be awesome here, and I'll be back again soon with more videos here. I hope you guys enjoy your Monday. Peace. Have a fantastic day.